So recently I blew my business up. I was running a multi-million-dollar business, and what they don't tell you about building a multi-million-dollar business is that once you get there, if things aren't in alignment, you actually might get more miserable than when you were broke. Like you, I've had a downturn. I had things not go so well. And, I was almost $1 million in debt at one point. And then life changes around like the entrepreneurial ups and downs. And there's always an up for every down and every down for every up. And I just sort of created this business over the last 2.5 years that I just fell out of love with. Because I realized is that the reason I created the business was out of necessity, not out of choice. And I understand that there's a lot of entrepreneurs, by going through that experience, I realize a lot of entrepreneurs have that moment. You get to high 6-7 figures, and then you kind of like, you don't need to do this anymore. You get the abundance, you get the freedom, and then you realize that there's no real point to getting out of bed in the morning. That's difficult, because the world's looking at you, and now you're successful. Now the world's paying attention. See, when you fail, nobody's looking at you. But when you succeed, everybody is. And so it creates this problem where your ego and your pride goes against your mind, and it goes against your heart, and it goes against your body. And I ended up to a point where I was miserable, which is really weird, really strange, because there's more money than I've ever made in my entire life. My life was upgraded in ways that I've never had before. I had a lot of friends. Even being seen as, one of the top people in my small little pond in the industry. And then you kind of come to that reckoning point where you kind of suppress it. You try to take your mind off it. You might buy something, you might go on a vacation, you might do this and do that. But at some point you keep looking yourself straight in the mirror. And it doesn't get any better. Because the problem is that when you don't choose, and you don't actually step into your why, you can make as much money as you want. That does not create contentment. That doesn't create passion. That doesn't create impact. That doesn't do what you want it to do. At a certain point, it's no longer about the money and the abundance. It's about being able to actually impact the world the way you want to. So I had this content business. I was selling information on the internet. I wasn't proud of it. I could barely even get on a webinar and keep it together. And I was at a point where I knew I was going to start self-sabotaging my business simply because of the fact that I just didn't like it anymore. I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to wake up anymore. I always loved what I did. At least I thought. I think looking back, it was actually just the fact that I had a gun to my head. And when the gun's taken away, what remains? So I'm shooting this about 10 weeks after blowing my business up. And I feel like every single thing that we do in life, we do so that we can also teach others of what happened. And life either gives you failure or gives you mentors. And we kind of need to lean in and listen to people that have done it before us. Because failure takes a lot. It takes a lot emotionally. It messed me up emotionally. It messed me up physically. It made me unhealthy. And if I can prevent anyone from doing that and having a better life, then I want to. Which is why I'm kind of shooting this video. So I decided after a weekend in Utah, kind of away from everything, surrounded by other entrepreneurs, being very uncomfortable, I had a choice. It was either I was going to continue to stay miserable, I was going to pivot, or I was going to close my business down. And it's really hard to do either one of those. Because if you pivot, it's like, well, what's Scott doing? If you close it down, it's like, whoa, what's going on? And if I stay miserable, there's no point to live anymore. And you know what the worst part is? Is that a lot of the people in my life just said this was part of being in business. It's part of profiting. And I don't know about you, but I want to enjoy what I want to do, because the journey of this road that we're on as entrepreneurs, that's the cool part. That's the interesting part. There's no destination. There's no end point. The end point's death. I wanted to be able to do whatever I could to enjoy the journey of being here, of being able to impact people, being able to create and innovate and evolve and help others do that. So it's been 10 weeks, and some interesting things have happened. I killed my business, killed my products, let go half my team, and I realized, and I really kind of tapped into what I wanted to do, and it was to help people become relevant, help people become omnipresent, was to help more people get into their why so that they could help others evolve. Instead of just delivering information to deliver transformation, instead of quantity, create quality. And it's been this amazing experience that I just capture every single moment of every single day as I wake up. And I feel that if you're listening to this video right now and maybe you've gotten things moving, maybe you're afraid of the let go, and this experience has allowed me to realize is that the best things in life happen when you let go of control and you relinquish control and you just let life come at you, which is kind of like the opposite that you do when you're starting out. And that when you find your flow, when you find what you're really supposed to do, things and the puzzle pieces start to come together and you start to get motivated for the reason of which you chose to. Instead of doing something for the necessity of it, you do it because you choose. And it's just this feeling of absolute embodiment of passion and just understanding why you're actually here and realizing that the purpose of you being here right now is whatever that why is. So if you're that person, I just want to encourage you to remember of what's the worst that can happen. If you leap, what's the worst that can happen? You can always make more money. You can always rebuild a reputation. You can always get more pride and more ego. But you only get one life. And I realized I'd rather regret than having a bunch of what ifs. And perhaps the same is happening for you. So leap, because you only get one chance. And this is it. So if you enjoyed this content and you want more of it, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. And if you want other entrepreneurs just like you to be able to also access this information, this knowledge, make sure you go ahead and share it with someone that means the most to you. Remember, as entrepreneurs, it's our job to be able to help other entrepreneurs continue to elevate, allowing us to evolve society and evolve our world. I'll see you next time. Bye.